We are live. Welcome to the Michigan Bros Grow Show, episode 202. Almost forgot. It's right there.
202. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, chat. Welcome. Got the
Cheers.
panel, Big Phone, Spartan Grove, Red Center Farms, Beckham Beats Cannabis at Rosemary Oasis. That's their garden page. And we're here.
Tara and Frugoli on the road right now as we speak. Drive safe.
They are hitting storm weather, so yeah, they need to drive slow and steady.
Eargasm.
What's up? For those are the plugs.
They're decibel filters. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
we're gonna try them out. We bought them. We're not like sponsored by them or anything. We got a pair just to try out on our own. So I don't know how great they work. They're supposed to at max efficiency reduce 21 decibels. These say 16 decibels. Just with having them in. But if you have them inserted properly, you should get 21 decibel reduction. It's not a full earplug. It's a little filter that allows, and it's not electronic, it's totally mechanical. It allows noise to go in and filters it, so you still get the pitch quality and tone quality, but it reduces the noise. So they're good for cutting the grass. They're good for, just every day being around a lot of noise. So think grow rooms. You got a lot of fans. You got really high decibel. We put a decibel meter in the grow rooms. It's really loud. Just like with our eyes, try to wear my Method 7s in my grow rooms as often as possible. Or just any kind of, shade lens filter for my eyes, with all the artificial light or just intense. In my case, I'm still on HPS, so there's UV light. I metal halide. There's UV light hitting my eyes. I definitely try to filter that. But the same with, I'll probably end up wearing these more in my ears. I usually wear headphones anyways. I'm going to get back off the Bluetooth ones, get back into the corded one. I have been using the corded ones as of lately. But if I'm not using those or listening to anything, I'd probably pop these things in my ears and see if it helps with some of that noise reduction. It might help with some headaches and stuff like that. But we're going to some concerts. We're going to like 3 for sure, 3 to 5 concerts in the next week. So we've already done 3 this year, and we have another one later this year. All these shows, man, it just it can be really hard on your hearing, and I really want to be able to enjoy music in my old age. Cheers to Daddy Red. Shout out to him. He's been pitch tone deaf since his time in the Army, just from shooting rounds from the ammunition training and stuff like that. He doesn't have pitch sounds, and he has hearing loss and things like that over time. So that's another one of those senses that you kind of want to protect and keep around. So I don't know. Shout out to these guys so far. So far, so good. We do some stuff, listen to some music. We can hear the music just fine, and it does seem to give a little bit of a muffle. We'll see how I feel after 3 to 5 concerts in a week and see if we have any.
Well, anything's better than nothing at all for sure. So
that'd be cool, dude. And it's rough. I get ringing in my ears real easily. I smacked my head with a fucking T-post hammer last fall, and I've had a gnarly, mild little tinnitus coming off of that from a while, which has subsided, of course. That subsided many months ago, but any reason that tinnitus pops up, mainly it's allergies, just my ears being plugged up. But noise, anytime you get that big loud speaker, you're standing in front of a base or doing target practice or hunting.
Yeah.
That'll mess with your ears. Don't take your eardrums.
I worked in factories all my life, and there's some factories where they would actually do an ear test every year, and you could just see the change. It's pretty cool.
It's good that they did that. That's probably for insurance purposes or something. But still,
yeah, it was required to wear earplugs the whole time at work.
Since we're on this earplug topic conversation, which I do consider to sort of relate to, nowadays the way that the cannabis industry has really evolved. If you're in the commercial cannabis industry, it's kind of like working in a factory. So, you may want to invest in a good set of ear filters, definitely eye filters. But even earplugs. And since we're on the topic, there's a great company called Moon Mats that takes a waste product and sells that waste product as a ergonomical mat to stand on. And these things are fucking fantastic. If you've ever been to a festival, you've seen these orange mats laying around. We have one. One side's green, but those are the byproduct. All those little holes that are in these mats, if you know what we're talking about, are little earplugs. Those are byproduct of earplugs, and so what they are is either the waste stream or the defective. The military gets all of the earplugs out of these things, and so the mat that we got actually had a whole bunch of those little.
Yeah, solid one for $125. No
They're
holes.
not bad, and you can get a 2-pack for not that much, but at festivals you can find defective ones, which has like a little tear in this. Dude, our defective one was hardly defective at all. It was mostly defective because most of the earplugs were still in it. So not only did we get the moon mat, but we got like 60 earplugs along with our moon mat. Yeah, actually, they end up everywhere. They fall out of the fucking thing. They end up in your car. They end up in your luggage. They end up in your. We have one in our backyard. One remained in our garden forever, but they end up becoming these little like fidget toys. So if you have like a fidget response, use a fidget spinner or squeeze one of those stress balls or something. It's a great little stress ball. And dude, they are great concert mats to sit on. Anyway, that's my monologue on earplugs and how good those are.
I like that. I got a couple shout outs too, though. I want to shout out first Tara Wilson. It's her birthday. Yep. So shout out Tara for her birthday.
Birthday,
she had a wonderful day. Hope everything
it was on Friday.
Treated her well. She got some awesome gifts. I know she was eating good, and she went to some pretty cool festivals, it looked like today. So shout out to you, Tara. And then I want to shout out Nika B. He came around today, and I hung out and seshed with him. Baked, I got a little gift package from him here waiting for you. He's got these cool packaging. Check out organic.
Yep.
I like that little touch.
Oh, I love his logos.
That's so awesome.
Dope. Oh yeah, it's nice.
So yeah, and he's even threw in. I'm gonna show off your cards too. So he's got it on this card.
Nice.
Bam.
Rounded edge.
Yep. Nice. So yeah, it was cool hanging out with him and smoking with him today, and we just hung out on the back porch today, right before the storms moved in. So it was like kind of breezy and nice out, and had a good time. Dabbed out. He brought some stuff from. What did he have? He had Super Boof rosin. That was pretty good. Then he had this one that was mixed. It was a papaya and something else, like chopped cherry, maybe. No, not chopped cherry. Chopped can of cookies, I think, mixed. Like it was a blended rosin, and it smelled like it tasted like you were smoking like cologne. It was fucking good, man. I liked it.
I'd have to try that.
Yeah, you wouldn't like it because you don't like chop.
Yeah.
So that's what it reminded me of. It had that definitely
that flavor. Good cologne either, though. If it's chopped.
Well, it was like that. It was like that, and like a cedar or a what's that other?
Birchwood.
No, there's one that's usually in cologne that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Walnut.
Nope.
I'm just gonna start naming woods. Pine.
No. You like guessing wrong is making it
cherry wood.
Not cherry. No.
That's all I got. Applewood.
No, but that's a good guess. That's in there a lot.
A table made out of applewood.
Sandalwood, yeah. Purple Thumb got it.
Sandalwood.
Oh, sandalwood. That is a popular fragrance.
Then Jason Johnson right after. Nah, yeah, that's what it was like. It was a lot like that. It was nice.
I just have to say real fast I just gotta go back to the earplugs, man. It's an endless thing.
GMO guava is what Tara said.
Well, yeah.
Oh no, it was guava belts. Indica says it was guava belts.
Ooh, more rainbow belts crosses. We're gonna get into the rainbow belts after vacation. We got a lot of work before that, but okay. So ergonomical mats, like for trimming and stuff like that, awesome. Yes, Uline. I think it was Jay Patrick. I'm not sure who said it in chat, something like that. These are awesome. Moon mats, totally different story, man. Moon mats are like sitting on clouds. They are clouds for your feet. They're the.
Oh, you're talking about sitting on them for
totally
trimming?
Different than just your basic like.
I usually sit in a chair when I trim.
Oh my god, no, these things are awesome. Well, whatever you're doing that you're standing on, These things are.
You guys stand and trim?
I'm just making this related to growing, but specifically they're great at festivals, and that's where you find these moon mats at. But they're literally like sitting on Swiss cheese.
No, they are comfy. My
They're
friends always
fucking
had them.
amazing. It's the best mat.
It's interesting you say hearing and shit though, because we're always yelling in the grow room. What did you say? What?
Oh, you can't hear anything.
Yeah, that's
One of
why.
us, one of
You
us
saw
who
the
has
headset I
worse
would wear.
hearing gets pissed off because he can't. If you have to repeat yourself a couple times, or he has to, it's like, well, I can't hear shit, especially if all the DUs kick on.
Do you play a radio?
Dude, that's why I wore those big giant earmuffs when I worked there. Remember those big giant things went over my ears?
You brought the work ones in, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yard work ones.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but the charge lasts all week.
That's good. Those are a great hearing protection. That's the best,
No,
especially if you can like hear something through it. The Apple's technology is pretty cool, where it's like a microphone and a speaker and all that. So I'm sure there's a ton of technologies like that. But honestly, I'm veering away from all of that, like Bluetooth technology just being plugged into my skull like that.
Well, the problem is they took away all the jacks and phones and shit. Like, unless I'm mistaken, you don't have a 3.5 mil in the phone. I don't have one anymore.
No, I have the headphones that have that stupid plug, so they're able to.
Oh, they go straight to the lightning.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, it's like a lightning bolt plug. They're the ones that can move the phone. Actually, yeah. Fortunately, we still have a couple of those laying around. Yeah, I hope they don't like mandate that. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, that would be.
No, I'd like to.
You know, I heard. I guess it's not
sometime.
campus related, but I heard in 5 days on the 30th, they're gonna start pulling people over for looking at your phone while driving.
Yeah, you can have it on a mount and be fine. You just
On the
can't have it in
30th.
your hand.
Yeah, so I just gotta watch it.
You need to, maybe keep your eyes on the road. That might be a good idea.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying.
I understand it. It is going to be a good, but man, I don't know. It's going to open up some more reasons for them to pull you over.
Yeah.
If they think you're on your phone.
You know how much I enjoy police and all that, but I'm okay with this because I drive past so many people driving like.
I do too. I understand
it.
I get it.
And I look over, and they're not even looking. They're looking at a phone down here.
Regulations are weird. Like, it's okay if you're on an emergency, but like they don't know if you're on an emergency. So I don't know. It just opens up. It opens up so much room for error, if you will, as like a law. And it's almost like
people are gonna go to court for like what's an emergency.
I feel like it'll be easily abused. That's all.
My point when we were talking about at work was, so what about the cops and a giant laptop where you got a full keyboard you're using while you're driving?
Well, they're omitted. Any emergency responders are completely
just like they can do whatever they want.
How are they omitted when did you gain superhuman abilities at the academy?
Yes, they don't have to follow any of the rules, man.
That's why
they don't even got to tell you the truth. They can lie to you.
You're gonna tell me not to do it. I don't know.
That's what makes laws stupid. It's not like it's not.
I don't really use my phone while I drive, anyways. But
it's like how they use the laws to be oppressive.
Yeah, pull you over and be like, "We need to search you."
Like, I'd be okay with
laws. Under 2.5 ounces of stanky Yankee.
Yeah.
Check it out.
I don't know. They're gonna have to be pretty close to be able to see that, though. How are they gonna really? They're gonna have to come up next to you and drive past and watch.
I have a feeling it'll be a lot of nighttime. They'll get a lot of people.
You think they got some kind of like camera technology that'll be able to see it?
No, their phones on full brightness.
Oh yeah.
Lighting up their whole car.
Well, I don't think a lot of people do that, do they? I don't think I've seen that.
I see people at night. Oh, that motherfucker's on their phone. That motherfucker's on their phone. Yeah. But yeah.
No, I agree. People being on their phone is absolutely ridiculous because they'll hold up traffic and do all kinds of crazy shit.
So
I've seen people reading a fucking book driving down the highway. I'm like, what are
have
you
you seen-
fucking doing?
Have you seen the news interview of like the 1970s or 80s? Like it's like a little down south, but there's two, and they just made drinking and driving illegal, and those people are not happy with the new laws. And the one goes, "What's next? What's next? We're gonna become communists." It's pretty funny. I wish I could find that off the
I've
hand,
seen it.
but
I've seen it.
yeah.
It's the voice of change, you know. It's surely happening.
I don't understand what the time's coming to when a man can't get off a shift, have a few beers on the way home.
He was like 3 beers. He was saying.
Yeah, it's like,
what?
golly, well.
You mean I got to
Yeah.
take extra time to stop to drink my beers?
Yeah.
I want to kill 2
Yeah,
birds.
like yeah. I hope they open up a lot more consumption laws here, at least in Michigan.
That's weird. They have to make some changes, I think, to make them profitable. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Why bar them to be able to sell food? That's a
what I
revenue
mean,
stream.
though. I hope
Why
some of
bar
that
them to be
happens.
able to sell drinks? That's just dumb. Make some changes so that people can actually make money.
Oh, they can't sell like pop?
You know,
Crazy.
I don't think they
You,
can have
you
any-
might as well just be a private club and allow smoking, basically, and not even go through the CRA. You might as
That's
well.
about the only way you can do it. Is
Might
private
as well
club.
just be
You
a,
know?
well, I mean, you might as well just not even go through the CRA and just be a moose
Yeah,
club.
but would they be
Allow
mad if
people
they
to
found
smoke.
out about
Yeah,
that?
they would shut you down. I think.
Yeah,
Who would shut you down? I mean, the question is, who would
cigar.
shut you down? The
CRA could.
But you don't have a license through the CRA, so how do they actually shut you down? Who do they shut you down?
They would call it. Well, they would notify. Well,
Somebody would
first
notify them.
off, the director of the CRA is an ex-police officer, so he would call
Not
his
anymore,
buddies.
not anymore. I think they got a new one.
No, the guy that is right now
I
is
mean,
an
all you'd
ex-police
be
officer.
getting charged for is smoking on your property, which is legal. So I don't understand. You're not a public business. You're a private club. You're a private club that public is not allowed in. You know what I mean? You're a private club.
That just so happens to have laws of consumption. Yeah,
No, that doesn't have a law of consumption. You just.
So then you're just worried about ordinances, whatever ordinance in that area. Yeah. For groups, like how many people? So as long as you're not breaking an ordinance for how many people in one spot.
You're allowed to have in your fucking
right.
You know what I mean?
Like Genesee County National, right?
No, I'm not even saying anything like that. I'm just saying like a private business, a private entity. I'm not a lawyer.
I think where the trouble is the smoking indoors. I think that's the trouble because there's so many laws just against smoking itself.
Those are only food. Those are like food and business related laws, though. Like this isn't.
Yeah, because they have smoke lounges. They do. I like whatever you call them, where they have cigars.
Lounge. You just can't have food and smoke. If like 50% of your revenue is food based or food based, you can't have smoking in your business. But that's a business. It's a business. That's not.
So, like you said, just charge at the door, and that's where your revenue is coming from, not from so much from the food.
Like casinos allow smoking in a section. They have a whole area of smoking. I don't know how they do it. Whether it's they're parceled off or some shit or I don't know. But I'm not talking about a public restaurant or a public entity. I'm talking about a private club like a Moose Lodge. I can't just go into a Moose Lodge. I have to become a member of a Moose Lodge, and then I can go in there and I can drink specials and do whatever. But like, if I owned a Moose Lodge, why couldn't I just allow my patrons to smoke weed? I'd have to hear that from a lawyer to say because this is why, but I don't.
Well, I think it's a loophole right now. Still, it would be okay.
That's why
until they start treating it like
CRA.
Other smoking laws where they say secondhand, right? So you have to worry about the rights for secondhand smoke. So maybe there's some person who wants to go in there and not smoke and not consume smoke. So you should have like designated areas or something. I don't know. I can foresee things like that, like everybody wanting to be included, whether they smoke or don't. Or
I see that happening in like public type stuff.
Maybe some Moose Lodges do allow smoking.
Well, they certainly do. They totally do.
Why couldn't you just have a bouncer? Like, if you don't like smoking, sir, you can't come in.
Yeah.
Just like a club.
Just have a like Vervilli has the dabs at his booth all the time. Just have a dab, and you got to do a dab to get in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's how all those places are. Is like you really don't have a say of what goes on in
It'll
there.
be a placebo CBD dab.
If you don't like it, you don't go there. You go somewhere else. That's how places should be. Accommodating everybody is kind of silly. They should accommodate, whoever wants to go to a certain place, like places used to be.
Yeah. We gotta change that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. Like there's places for people to go. Applebee's and all that stuff exists. There's no smoking in any of those places, And so I don't know why some people can't have a restaurant where smokers exist at because they enjoy smoke. I'm not a cigarette smoker anymore. I smoked for 20 years. I did all that, but maybe I want to smoke a joint with my something. I love smoking. It's very weird. It's weird that you can't like freely make those choices.
Yeah. So what are you smoking? 'Cause I've been smoking Cavs Junkie for the last hour, but then I remembered I got a couple balls of like straight hairs / trichomes when I was plucking the leaves off all the Indigo Daydream. Like there was just massive amount of red hairs.
Oh, damn.
So I got them all off my glove. I just remembered them, so I'm gonna put them in a bowl
Burn 'em.
after this.
I've been smoking Vortex and I switched to Project V, but that's pretty much Vortex. So that's where I'm at. TOG serenading us.
Yeah, he wants second dinner.
Yeah, it's not getting it yet. We haven't had our dinner yet, so it's gonna go crazy on our dinner.
I just had a bowl of lemon do-si-do with some GMO dry sift on top.
GMO.
Indeed.
I got a GMO outside. They got hammered today. And this morning I put out a big old fatso, it's called. And that bitch got wrecked.
Did it?
Fucking wrecked, bro. I went out there the moment the rain stopped where it was stopped being torrential. And that thing was on the ground. Like still good though, like still in the pot, like
on the ground. Like the pot tipped over?
No, like the
Oh, it just flipped to the side.
It bent, yeah, it bent, and it's beaten up. So I put it up with a post, green post, and one branch though I think broke, so it's just laying there.
Just grab it and stick it in the ground. Maybe it'll just re-root into the ground. Maybe better plant.
Yeah.
Stick it in one of the other pots.
The thing's big enough, and we got enough time. It'll be big. That thing, that was an odd coincidence that I put it out there this morning. It's like, welcome to outside. Did
you get a lot of rain too with it?
Tons of rain.
Cool.
It was like hurricane weather. It was like raining, which is good. But yeah.
Yeah, it was raining pretty hard here for a little bit.
We got dogs. Flowers. They're not happy.
Flowers.
Heavy.
Yeah.
The dog is fine. He's been doing this for 10 years. This is not a chronic condition. Well, maybe it's a chronic condition of vocal. He's vocal. He's a vocal.
Yeah, I gave him some food, right? And now he's sad because I didn't put cheese on it. That's all.
Goodness.
That is all.
He's senile and habitually stubborn.
Sounds like he's cooing like a bird, like a dove or something.
He does this in the middle of the night to wake us up, and it's quite irritating.
Yeah. Well, it's at least to let you know to go out.
Yeah, he's got to get up and go out. He's stopped going all the way down to the basement to wait for us. He just does it right in bed, gets us out of bed.
Oh, wonderful.
But he takes 5 minutes to get outside. He's so slow.
Yeah.
See, he's getting you guys. He's training you guys for, hey, if you guys get blessed with a child, there you go. You're already used to not sleeping and waking up in the middle of the night.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's that training.
There you go. You're just trained already to deal with it. It'll be a breeze.
Yeah. I already know how to get up in the middle of the night.
He gets all upset. We were just talking about this because he'll be mad in the middle of the night. He'll be like, "Go to bed, GOG,"
I get mad and yeah, but my
not
dog
go
doesn't
back
like
to bed. I'm like, kids are worse, man.
Yeah, he won't go back to bed, and then I'll take him out. He'll go out, and then he'll end up just going out there and just laying down. It gets hot. It gets hot in the house, man. It's summertime, so it's starting to get hot. And
So he just got there because he didn't have to go. He's just wanting to be
air
cool.
on and shit. It's warmer outside than
You
it is
guys, you
inside.
guys know I know somebody with an LG mini split.
I know somebody too, and it's not us.
Yeah, we don't have to.
You got rid of it?
Yep,
Oh boy!
yep. It's officially gone.
Hell
Mini
yeah!
split.
Oh,
Congrats.
congratulations. Oh, yeah. What are you going to do with all that space you had sitting there now?
Dude, I'm gonna
Yeah.
build a shower.
There you go.
Yep,
That would be cool. Out
yep.
at the shop.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a
That would be
shower
really
installed.
cool.
I'm gonna put a shower in out there and do the water room the way that it should be. Uh, our fucking RO filter is just like on the floor and it's hooked up to the mop sink, so I don't use the mop sink other than filling the RO filter, and it's just stupid. So I need to like actually plumb it all together. We have no way of cleaning ourselves out there, so we don't do any yard work until we're done doing indoor work, and that leaves
Yeah.
us with very limited stuff to do, and it's an hour drive from home. It's just like, it's stupid. We got to go out there, do indoor stuff, and then we could get stuff done in the evening, but then like, we got to stay out there, and we don't have a shower to shower up before going to bed or anything. So we need a shower. And then we can do whatever. We have a garden out there, take a shower, go in the grow rooms and do our stuff, and it'll be a lot better. So
That'd be cool.
Speaking of gardens, today, guys, I harvested all our scapes on the garlic that we planted.
Nice.
And there was probably like 24 scapes, I would say. There's still a couple out there that aren't fully developed, but anyway, I took it all and I combined it with salt and I made garlic salt.
Garlic salt. Nice.
It is so good. I
You
was
just
not.
use like a coarse salt? Is that what you used?
so good.
I made a first batch and I was like, we've got more. Should I make more? Because we use garlic salt all the time. So I made a second batch and
Super cool.
yeah, I'm super excited.
The second batch is more of a fine salt, so we have kind of one of each. They're
Oh,
both
cool.
delicious. Oh my god, it's so good. It's like eating a piece of garlic bread without the
The
bread.
It's,
It's so good.
it's so fragrant and it kind of looks like ground up weed.
Yeah.
It definitely looked like weed when you held on. Oh, cool shake.
Yeah.
Reminds us, or Emily made some medicated sugar for the first time. It's, you just make a tincture and you soak the sugar, and then, so that was cool to watch that process. Same kind of thing where, look, now you got this big jar of stuff this medicated sugar, or like in your case, garlic salt, that will last for freaking all winter long, and you're not buying it at the store, and you have this huge jar of it now.
Yeah, I made that and it turned out I only used like a half a cup of salt on each batch, and it like made over a cup of salt with the scapes in it, and it's like,
oh wow,
it's so
nice.
worth it, and it's gonna last us a while.
Makes me want to actually make like cannabis salt, because you can do this with everything. You do this with lavender. You do this with all, your nasturtiums. You can do this with like any edible plant, really, that you're getting your minerals.
Lavender's a popular one I've seen.
What, you'd like knock off the trikes?
Yeah, and maybe even just
You'd have to do it after you decarbed it.
But not if you're just shooting for phytonutrition. With this,
yeah.
you're not getting. I don't know what you're getting. Like, you're definitely getting flavors. You get it, but I wouldn't be doing it maybe necessarily for the aroma, but for whatever phytonutrition's in the leaf.
Would you maybe mix the salt with leaves? So do that in the food processor?
In the food processor. If you did buds, you might get terpenes. Like, you're getting, I don't know. These are what are these? These are alcohol esters, or
the terpenes with somebody like
volatile alcohol compounds.
But then you have to bake the salt, so that would probably decarb it.
Oh, true.
So if you did use flour.
See, I was wanting THCA, like the acid form, specifically for like, you could dose as much as you want. And
still talking. But that would be
Yeah.
cool to use a bud and just put that in the food processor with a wet bud.
Yeah, it might
Make like
work
a
that way.
pesto.
What?
Put some oil in there. Make like a pesto. Some coconut oil, a bud, some spices. They say you just eat. I've seen a couple things saying just eating the plant raw, you get all the acid forms of the cannabinoids, and it's really healthy for you too. You might not get any of the high, but it's very, very healthy for you still.
That's smart.
The THCA is huge. See, we're God, who was I just listening to? Oh man, I was just listening to fuck. I can't think of who it was, but it was Chad Westport. Was it Chad West? I think it was Chad Westport, and he was going down a rabbit hole. Maybe it wasn't Chad. Maybe it was somebody else on FC. Whoever does that, not the Mandela effect, but they got that one show on there. That the one dude with the braid talks. I can't think of his name right now because I'm stoned. I apologize. Dude, I'm blanking. Sorry, FCP. Anyway, he was talking about using RSO like back in the day, like using full plant extracts and making RSO. It was pretty much a talk on RSO versus FICO or something like that, and talking about like how well
how many strains you use.
Yeah, like you could get into a lot of things on what the difference is. Basically, his main difference is FICO is not decarboxylated. It's THCA. It's slow. Like basically, as soon as you start to heat it, it becomes the crude, and what you're looking for is more of like the tincture.
Wait, so how do strains come into there?
What's that about strains?
The difference between FICO and RSO is
Yeah, and others would
strain.
say, others would say that
RSO is single source.
Well, my opinion, RSO is Rick Simpson oil, which is what we know.
Yeah.
And then FICO is a full extract cannabis oil. So I think that you need multiple strains to cover up.
well, that's what
Oh, I see what you're saying.
cannabinoids.
Get all of them.
Yeah.
That's what was going on also in like the explanation, but like his main explanation was the difference is saying that FICO is more that it's not heated. There's no heat being applied, so you don't actually decarboxylate. You keep the THCA
cold.
And it's an old school approach for fighting cancer and lowering tumor cell growth and things like that, because you can have the patients can dose incredibly higher amounts without the effects. I mean, God, dude, 10 milligrams to a cancer patient, 10 milligrams to anybody for the first time taking cannabis is like way overwhelming. When you get into the realm
How
of
many milligrams is in a milliliter?
Of RSO,
Yeah.
60, 65 maybe.
Yeah.
So a grain of rice is, I don't know, it could be anywhere from 6 to 10 to 15, depending on the size of your dose. It could be a high dose.
I know a half gram of RSO is equal to at least 300 milligrams of THC.
Right. Yeah, it's 3 to 325, somewhere in that range, usually.
There's gotta be more than 60 fucking milligrams in 6 to 5 or 1 to 2.
One line from 1 to 2 is
big. That's
a whole
a
gram.
big syringe. That's a big syringe though.
Yeah, this is a fatty. This is a fatty.
That one on there is a gram. That one on
It's a
there is a
gram.
milliliter, and that's a whole
Yeah.
gram. Like it
Yeah.
is.
What's that? Like 1,000 milligrams?
No, it'd be about 600 at least.
600?
Yeah. Yeah, that 1
Yeah,
milligram
so
is
10
milligrams.
10, yeah. Alright, I'm just trying to get.
I was thinking that was a 1 milliliter syringe.
No, I don't have any of those anymore.
Yeah, yeah, that's a. So yeah, I mean, it can be really powering. So like, and I've always equated like RSO being just Rick Simpson's methodology, and people would equate that that's his methodology, and then some people would say, well, that's using naphtha, and others would say, well, he switched that instead of using ISO, and they said, no, he switched that and started using whatever. food grade, and I'd say just pick a good clean process. He was saying that the original was acetone. Like acetone is basically like lab grade. That's pharmaceutical grade. Is using acetone as your solvent, and that's like the cleanest solvent. Um, I guess you'd have to want to make sure you're getting pharmaceutical grade or lab grade acetone, but that would be your best polarization for like everything. Pull everything from stuff. Spartan, you're muted.
I was just saying I was thinking out loud, sorry. But my only issue I have is that I don't know if these were connected or not, but if it's the same guy saying not to use the heat, but at the same time using acetone, it's kind of like something.
No, he's not saying to use the acetone. He's saying that that's what they use in pharmaceuticals, and he's saying that like that would be considered like pharmaceutical grade. That's what they used to use in whenever they was like the 80s or early 90s or whenever it was. Maybe prior to using naphtha.
Ethanol is real common. Yeah, no.
Yeah, naphtha was used because of its polarization. But then you have to do a separation from the naphtha. The naphtha itself it evaporates, but you don't just evaporate it. You have to like separate it and then let it. Like there's a different thing you need to really do with naphtha.
Yeah.
So like there's all kinds of like different ways to beat around the bush, but as long as you purge correctly, the same deal like we talked about, is butane, hexane, or any of those solvents good for extracting and making a live resin, and our fellow panelist Bergoli would say yes, absolutely, and like some people would say oh no. So I mean,
I split down the middle. I just call it
acetone sounds bad, but I'm sure like because it's used in the pharmaceutical industry. I don't know this to be a truth. This is just me hearing it through third parties. So I'm only hearing what I hear. I've used acetone, and it's used in machine. I've used it in working in the shop, and it was just used for a cleaner. We'd had it just for cleaning machinery and shit like that. But and shit, I mean that's nail polish remover. It's basically the same thing. But I'm not saying use nail polish remover for your RSO at all. I'm
just like using food grade solvents at least. Use something that's food grade.
Food grade solvents. That's my recommendation for always. So, but the idea is to, I guess, just let it evaporate, or hit it less than 90 degrees. I guess going over 90 degrees gets it into that range of maybe it's a decarboxylation thing, maybe it's a terpene temperature thing. I'm not sure, but once you start cooking it, basically, it no longer is like this natural oil, the original oil of the plant. It starts to turn. You start applying alchemy to it, and then it turns into just something different. And maybe that's the difference, and that's why the methodology of alchemy becomes the Rick Simpson methodology.
I don't know. I think that's a fine hair to try to slice there. I mean, it's like we're also growing plants under artificial lighting. That's not natural. We're also not allowing the plants to be fertilized. That's not natural. So there's a lot of not natural things we're already doing to the plants just to try to get the best expressions that we're looking for. Because we're definitely not doing what's the best for the plant. It wants to reproduce. That's what the plant wants to do. So I don't know. I would argue that we do a lot of not natural things kind of on purpose. So sometimes natural, I mean, I do like, obviously, me, I mean, I'm a big fan of natural things, but I mean, when it comes to growing the plant, I think some people can get
maybe natural is a bad word to use and it's a semantics thing, but what I'm kind of
right, yeah.
It's, you're not applying any form of alchemy to it. You're not heating it. And so therefore you're not cooking off any cannabinoids or changing the structure in any way.
Right. You're saving more. Yeah. Because just even a little bit of heat, you can lose some terpene.
Yeah, you're not even restructuring the carbon chain. You're not decarboxylating or doing anything. Maybe over time, yeah, you are. If you're letting it sit for 6 months.
Which it would do already on its own, though.
So
if you left it on the bud.
So it might do that. So there's still that decarboxylation. But I don't know how long that's going to take. Yeah, I don't know what the room temperature.
It's quite a long time.
I think it's a long time. I don't know where room temperature gets. Like 270, it goes down to like what, 30 minutes, something like that, decarboxylate. But like you get down to like 90 degrees, it takes like
A lot longer, yeah.
12 hours or something like that. And I think less than that, it takes a lot
Slow
longer.
cook.
Days and days and weeks, months. Yeah. I could be wrong on months, but it takes a long time.
Well, I
think
had to.
for sure more than a month. Because you could cure stuff for a month and still have to, burn it to get high.
Well, I'd be curious what the
But I
rate
bet
of
you it started
evaporation.
to.
Like, let's say you're trying to
Me
let's
too.
say you have a tincture. Let's say you want to do the THCA method. So you have a tincture. So if it takes a week to evaporate at room temperature, you might have shelf storage. Maybe if you seal it off and you prevent it from decarbing a little further, oxidizing or whatever you can do. If you get it to evap, you might have yourself a nice crude, raw, not decarb THCA oil until it decarbs on its own. Whatever that, let's say it's a month, so maybe you got it for 3 weeks. I don't know how long it's going to take to evaporate. It probably will take, I think, in a couple days, dude. What's out? Alcohol can evaporate out of you're going to need a wider pan. You're probably going to have to like really stretch it out, because if it's in a ball jar, it probably won't evaporate. Probably take a week or longer.
Alcohol, like ISO?
Yeah, I'll get a little shot glass of ISO, and I'll keep my scissors in it. I'm at the shop, and I'll forget to like change it out or something. I'll come
It
back 2 days
depends,
later, and
because
it'll still be there.
we
Once it's
used to
all
clean
evaporated.
everything with ISO, and then we would put it on like a big flat plate, not completely flat, but and just leave it out with maybe a fan going. That'd be
Yeah,
dry in 24 to
surface
definitely
area.
48 hours.
Yeah. The exposed
And
surface
we would
area.
scrape it up and have a bunch of ISO hash.
So you
Or
probably just pour it out on a 9x12 pan. Pour all your tincture out.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Let it evaporate off of that. But then you don't get to reclaim your. That's what's nice about heating.
Yeah,
And distillation process and using alchemy
claim
is
your
that you get to
alcohol.
reclaim your solvent. That's what I like about the Ito. I can reclaim my stuff. Spartan, how hot did you turn that dial on the Ito? Because I keep mine like all the way to the top, thinking it needs to be high. But I'm starting to think that if I turn it all the way down, it'll still work and it'll just lower by the temperature. Am I going at too high of a temperature if I got it all the way
No,
up?
I did. I turn it all the way. So if you turn it all the way to the highest setting, eventually you'll get to a point to where it just shuts off the heat and it'll go to just like a vacuum.
Yeah, so right
To use
before.
a vacuum runner. Yeah, so that's what I do. I'll turn it until it shuts off and then back up until it turns back on. So I've got it like almost at the very highest you can have it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting. It's just for the process speed, I think.
Yeah, and it still can take some time. I've noticed, depending on how, like, if I have stuff like if I'm processing, use the best example would be used rosin pucks, because they have a lot of material in it that will come out into the extract. It'll be a huge yield. Well, it's going to be thicker and it's going to take a little bit longer to boil off. But if it's something that's a lower yield and it's a thinner oil, we'll say, or less oil, less volume of oil, that'll boil off, I find, a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I wonder if it's getting like alcohols tied up in the biomass, or not. There's no biomass in there, but like the
oil, the thickness, whatever you call it. Yeah,
the oil mass.
Yeah,
is biomass.
And then if you finish it on a hot plate like I do, that's decarbing at the same time. So like, then the bubbles are kind of your clue. As it decarbs, it bubbles off. And I set my hot plate for the boiling point of alcohol, which I forget now because I had to convert it to Celsius. So it's like in the 70s in Celsius.
It's 170 something.
Fahrenheit. Okay.
Yeah. I found that setting mine to, I don't have a dial. I don't have a dial or like a temperature, but I just use a thermal gun on mine. And I've taken it up to about 212, anywhere between 212 and 220. I get a good burn off rate and
Your water boils at 212.
A good decarb rate.
Oh my gosh.
Quicker.
Mine is pretty fancy. I can set the temperature that I want it to go to, and then I can set a variable. Like you can vary 10 degrees. What are you doing over there, Baked? You burning the shit out of yourself?
We have a temperature probe that goes into it.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's a stainless steel like probe that sticks inside it, monitors it the whole time, and then So I set it for like a good 10 minutes, or not 10 minutes, a good 10-degree swing. So it goes a little bit past the boiling point just to get it a little bit warmer, to get things kicked off. And then it'll shut off and cool way down to 10 degrees below the boiling point and then kick back on again.
Do you ever have issues of your magnetic stirring device, the little pill, getting off center and it just bouncing around? Or
Yeah, then I got to go slow it down and then
so that happens even
recenter it.
stir model. All right, I'm wondering if like I just have a fucking lemon.
Get a longer, find one that's usually if your pill's a little bit small, that it'll start doing that. But if you get a longer one that's fits your glass or whatever you're using it in a little bit better, it might do that less.
Because I'm wondering if maybe the pill that I was using was just maybe too thick, or I don't know. I've been thinking about that. I got a couple different sizes.
What'll happen is if there's any impurity at all, it tends to stick to the bottom of the glass.
Yeah,
you're using, and then it's like this little like speed bump for it to roll over. So that's what will happen there.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably what's going on mostly. So, those fats and waxes will like cake together over time.
Yeah, and they'll get like tacky almost.
They'll create like a little buoy, they'll just start floating around. You can just be like, oh, okay, just kind of pull out all the wax at once.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like purging off the oil, it's kind of neat.
Yep.
You can actually
it's fun sitting there watching that stir spin.
Yeah. It's been fun learning that process. It's definitely like I did it once or twice, and I was like, oh yeah, this is easy. But there's way more of an art to it. The more that you figure
playing with the speed for sure.
I think you like a olive press to really press the material and get all the alcohol out.
That would be awesome.
Now I use food grade kitchen Lexan, and so I've found that like one half pan, I think that's what it's called, a deep half pan, is enough to hold 3 1.75 liters of food grade alcohol, along with like I think it's a pound of biomass, and then pound of biomass and 3 1.75 liters. I end up getting 2/3 of that back. What do I end up getting back on my alcohol? I end up getting almost all the. I end up getting like 5/6 of the alcohol back, right? But I sit there and I just drain it, and I just let it drain. I kick it up on a corner, and I just let it drain into a like a cider press, it has like a big muddle filter screen. It's a conic filter.
That's cool. It's made out of stainless steel or something.
Yeah, I found it at we find that at World Market. Rural King. We found a Rural King.
Oh, Rural King. Nice.
Yeah, Rural King for your cider press. I almost wonder if they'd have an olive press there. But yeah, so that actually makes a nice filter. And then we put a filter bag in that because that's pretty big holes, more of a conic colander. It's pretty cool. And then I just tip that Lexan up on a corner and just let it drain. And I let it drain for like a half hour until it just completely stops. And I'd imagine if I actually gave it the old 1-ton press that it would like spew out a little bit more alcohol, but I get enough out of there to be fine. I take it out into the compost and I'll leave the bin open and just let it evaporate whatever else is left in there, and then I'll compost it, the rest of the material. What do you do with your material after you're done with that? Do you do anything? Do you just compost it?
Yeah, I've got the big lawn bags you can get at Menards, the big tall ones.
Yeah.
And that's where I put my fan leaves and then that eventually will go out to the compost pile.
Right on.
It gives me greens in the wintertime and stuff, when you have just fall leaves, I can mix some greens in with it.
I figured it just evaporates. It's all food grade alcohol.
I give those to the chicken.
Yeah, it evaporates. It becomes dry as hell.
All of your compost is making alcohol as it is.
Yeah, for sure. At the bottom.
That's all that's going on. Well, not if you're doing it right. It's a fermenting compost like we do out there. We're getting alcohol.
I do static piles, so I for sure I'm probably getting some alcohols in the bottom. But those are such a good fucking compost, man. There's something about allowing the biology to get to work on it. When it's hot, you get the microbiology, but like the bigger biology, like worms and arthropods and shit like that, tilling it up.
I really like the closed loop of like growing your own fruits, vegetables, and all of that stuff. Then, making your own compost out of those fruits and vegetables to make things like cider, and then maybe not cider, but like a vinegar or an alcohol from the vinegar, and then taking that alcohol and using that as your solvent to extract cannabis oil, lavender oil, whatever, as a total closed loop system. You wouldn't even have to bring alcohol on. You would just have to be careful about how you go about your manufacturing. But simple fermenting, you shouldn't really get into any trouble, I would imagine, unless you're doing something else with that alcohol, bootlegging it or something. But I'm not a lawyer, so, and I'm also not suggesting anything about
Yeah,
illegal
it's
alcohol.
cool though.
So
Same thing, apples. That's why apples were such a huge, awesome crop in America early on. Is a lot of it was fermented. Me and Baked got some more done in the dry room today. We can probably bust through that in another day. Probably knock it out, I'd say.
we got the bullshit part
The hardest cut parts, we got that bullshit stuff all out of the way.
around the door. Although I'll tell you what, the right side went a lot smoother than the left side of the door.
It's because we had nothing. We had like this much room to work with. It was nothing.
It looks good.
We pulled some magic up though.
Yeah, we get that done. Get the other room done. Get the insulator out. The grow will be done. Don't count the hash.
Well, the grow won't be done until we get the hash room done and the hallway done. That's not all done. Because we gotta
the hallway will be nice.
Get some drywall up there and then get a light up in there.
Yeah, finish the drywall, get the light, paint it.
Insulation.
Well, that's why the drywall is not up.
Yeah.
But yeah, triple burger's starting to stink. I think I gotta get a carbon filter.
So when did you want me to come out and help you with this last strip? It's gonna have to be Monday or Tuesday.
Tomorrow then.
Tomorrow or Tuesday.
Let's do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow, all right.
Yeah, we gotta strip the triple burgers. Final strip. They're almost done, Stretch. I think they're done-ish.
Not done-ish.
I don't know. It's only day 20 by my calculation.
Day 20, and they're GMO heavy, so they'll probably stretch another week.
But there's some that are done. So it's like, all right, let's see what you got. If you're funky, that'll be really cool to have a non-stretcher GMO.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I gotta water 2 more plants tonight. I made 3 buckets and it wasn't enough.
Dang, they're drinking hard.
Yeah, every day. There was a bunch today. I was like, I've watered you thoroughly yesterday. But it didn't matter.
We'll have to get a pump in there and a res and make that a lot easier.
Well, yeah, once we get water in there and finish the hallway, pipe some water in the hallway. Well, I'm even thinking that once I settle on a nutrient, just get a couple of dosatrons or something too.
Oh, shit.
Just have it fill up a res so we can just fill buckets or whatever we want. However, eventually maybe Netafim, but I don't know. It's tough. Not if we're gonna keep pheno hunting, I'd rather hand feed.
Yeah, or just hand mix. At least have the res, hand mix that res, and then have Netafim sprayers and spray it. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't even mind hand mixing a single res.
Yeah, because it'd only be 2 reses in the worst, or maybe 3 at the worst day. I mean, if
I want a cone bottom.
Yeah, cone bottom. That's we'll just use that one res that we can go to a T. We'll have the one res drain to a T, and then it'll go to a pump that will either go to one of the 3 rooms. That way, we only need 1 res.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. We're gonna have to exactly fill that thing with what we want to use because we can't have leftover mixes. Let's say we could between
the 2 flower rooms if they're on the same. No, they wouldn't be on the same cycle though. They'd be at different parts of flower, so they might be in a different recipe.
Yeah, they're gonna be a month apart. They will be.
So you have to mix exactly what you're going to use that day. That's not. I mean, you can estimate there's X amount of plants.
Plus, it's cocoa, So really, you can run
Yeah,
off.
exactly. You can run off if you have to, and that's just fine anyway. It's going to make them healthier anyway.
But that, I don't know, if I see a deal that's like 2 cone bombs, like 240 gals,
Yeah,
50 gals, I'd be like, all right, 2, I'll get 2. And
with
then
stands though, make sure because a lot of times they
oh,
trick you.
100% I want the stands. Yeah, because I'm
A lot
not
of times
gonna.
they'll trick you, and it's just
Oh, yeah.
the actual resin, but
What
not
I
the
found
stand.
is the big one is shipping. Like they'll charge you. It's like
Yeah, I can
150 bucks.
imagine because they're huge, they're big and
Yeah.
bulky.
Well, what you gotta do is find them like statewide, locally. Like
Even if you have to rent a moving truck, you know what I mean? Just rent a little U-Haul
yeah,
and go pick them up, throw them in
some of
there.
the grocery stores have them, like the bigger ones.
Oh, that's cool.
I saw the elevated had them in the warehouse, but they had like a big one. So I'm
Too
gonna
big
when
at
we get
once.
closer, I'm gonna ask them. Like, yo, can you get
GrowGen.
no elevated? They left GrowGen.
No, I was going to ask you if you were going to ask for GrowGen instead.
Oh, I've never seen a cone bottom up there at GrowGen, which is Mighty Grow. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll have them. I go there still for like CO2 and stuff. But they're the only with the other store closing out. They're the only supplier in town for growth supplies.
I know, isn't that disgusting?
Yeah, that's kind of
They're going away, man. Dude, it's a bummer. We got to go up to Grow Green's not far from us, but it's the biggest supplier near us now.
you need to hit up Elevated for your shop.
Yeah.
They'll deliver to you. You're close enough, I guarantee it. He'll
That'd be,
love to have your brother.
I'm not taking deliveries right now. That's too. I'm no. I'm a high
Yeah.
profile. I'm not.
You can pick shit up. You can pick everything up too.
Yeah,
I
that's what I
pick all
do.
my shit up.
Yeah, I try not to.
Uh,
People start talking when you get shit delivered, man. Last time I had big deliveries, people were. I called the township like a year later, and they were like, "Yeah, what were you building in there last year?" All the neighbors were calling saying you were building a bunch. You had all this delivered. I'm like, "What the fuck, dude?"
People
So
are so nosy, dude.
they're so fucking nosy, dude.
Yeah.
They mind their own business.
Nosy nose.
So let's see. Kurt Gerber asks if we're going to be at Big Cloud. Let's see. We won't be vending at Big Cloud in July, specifically the Legacy. I don't know, is it called Legacy in the Mitten or something like that? That is a metric vendor event. They are promoting caregivers and the culture and allowing them to come out and get in. From my understanding, for free. I would contact them about that. But we may go there and see what it's all about and check
Hey,
it out.
Biggs, pull up if you can on Instagram, Michigan Gems and Genetics. They just made a post on this, and I made a comment.
Becca and I were both able to
Michigan what?
Gems and Genetics.
So we might go there and check it out. Oh, Gems and Genetics. And then I hope that next Gems and Genetics would be able to do it. It would be a metric event, but the next.
You would hope that it would be a metric event, or it wouldn't.
I don't know. I would hope that
This
it
one?
wouldn't be so that we could attend.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that one. Click on that one.
Let's see.
And then
The
Still
next
see
a
my
long time in there.
see my post. See, the only thing that bothers me is calling it a legacy event and not having any legacy vendors.
It is interesting. Well,
And there's responses there though. That's fair. They had responses. So Gage Green responded.
Yeah, gross.
they
And what did
got
he say? I can't see. It's blocked off now.
Yeah, hang on.
they've got craft growers through the metric there. I'm not sure who on their list. I'm unfamiliar with a lot of metric. I know of a couple. Obviously, I know Mitten Canico.
From what I've seen on that list, it's a lot
Are
of
we on there?
better types of companies.
I would think Mitten Canico would. Mitten Canico's not that huge, It's a nice. I'd call
No,
that.
we're not. Yeah,
scale.
but we're not on there.
That's definitely a craft
I
scale.
remember asking about this, and the boss was like, "Oh, I don't think we're going."
Now, my curiosity is just like how maybe not the consumption aspect, but how like. All right, my curiosity is like on Reddit. There's a map that basically says what all the markets are. Hey, what's up for Growly? Cheers,
What's up,
brother.
Growly?
Cheers, guys.
In our Michigents Reddit, there's a Michigan. Sorry, I did it again. I thought I was doing it right that time. Reddit. It's listed as a traditional market event. They have traditional market events listed. They have metric events listed. That's
what they used to be. but now they're trying to go legit.
So I'm afraid that I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of that specifically, but I'm curious if the overall, let's say, out of state market who usually comes up looking for maybe a little bit more than 2.5 ounces comes up and sees that there might be limits put on. I'm curious to how it's going to the perception of what the event is versus what it is when they get here is going to
Last
be.
time.
That's my curiosity, but I think that
I think it's going to do well. They've got a lot of big names. It's just
they're promoting.
I don't like that they're Yeah, I don't like that they're promoting legacy
one way
event
or
when it's
another about
not a legacy event.
Yeah, I can see I don't understand using that metric as marketing for it.
I don't like that either.
I don't get why they would go metric based on how big the events were last year.
That term legacy got really trendy in 2022 and 2023. You otherwise never. Really
I agree with Becca.
Because eventually you want to go legit if you want to have a legitimate business, and I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be a professional. I mean, look at the names. They got big bands. They got huge names. They've got a good draw as far as that stuff goes. It's just not the event that's not the event that I'm interested in.
We might go check it out.
We might go walk around.
We'll see. We still have a dog to take care of, so we might not be able to get away. But the answer to Kurt's second question, we're getting married in August 19th is our wedding date.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that they give the wrong date?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So, hope not. Let me see here. We're going to get married in our garden here in our yard.
What's the next event we're going to be at?
The next event we're going to be at is Third Eye Craft Affair. And that is going to be in Jackson. So I'm going to Jackson. We might just mess around.
That's July 30th.
We're going to Jackson. Look out, Jackson town.
Are you guys in between harvests? Or what happened with the Schwartz Creek event? Did you guys decide not to do it? Or were they full? Or
yeah, no, it's more of a I don't know, of a cost and thing.
I get it.
Coming right out of our vacation, we don't know if we'll be able to prep in time for cost versus reward type thing. So we do have the Third Eye Craft Affair, and then we're going to jump in whatever other kinds of events that we can get in between. If maybe there's a 7-10, something going on. We might even try jumping in at Vehicle City while they're still a thing, and make face out that way, or GC3. I've been thinking about that, but we also might just take July off. We were honestly talking about taking a month off of just focusing on the garden, focusing on the indoor. We've got some detailing that we really need to do on the indoor. We've had some issues where we've been finding seeds here and there. And, most of our patient base and people are really cool about finding seeds. They're like, cool, thanks. I found a seed. Do you mind if I keep it? Do you mind if I plant it? And all of a sudden I'm like, please do. I'm happy that you're not flogging me on the internet over a couple seeds. You're fucking awesome. You know what I mean? It shit happens, but we need to get in there and do some detailing. And we just moved. We finally called out all of our mothers. We've had mothers that look like, it's a single stem that bushes out into this huge, and it looks like a little fucking cane. It's so thick and big. It's a big giant thing. And then that's 4 feet high of no leaves. And then from 4 feet high to 6 feet high is this little bush of clones that comes back with force every time you try to cut it back. And we eventually got rid of those moms. We took new moms a couple months ago, maybe. Nurtured those clones. We were having some weak mom issues, and we got some good clones strong. And
how long were those moms going for?
Fucking way longer than I want to admit. Over a year and a half.
Okay, that's
maybe 2 years. Maybe 2 years on this.
It's kind of impressive from my perspective.
Terrible, dude. Terrible. It's I don't know. It got away from us. It got away from us in the fact that we didn't have anywhere to start new mothers. I closed down all the grow rooms here that we used to grow at, where I used to do all my nursery. We built a new nursery. We were working on a new nursery out there, and at the same time, have this ambitious plan of having our wedding here at our house. So we've been building a huge garden here and just doing all this stuff. So the garden is a big thing because we're actually diversifying into clearly making our own, stuff. We make our own soaps and all this other stuff, but like just making salts and things like that now. So we're just really trying to be as resourceful as possible, and having a garden, it kind of cuts that down. Unfortunately, we all know that it's time consuming to get the infrastructure going. Shit, my indoor took me like 5 years to build. You know what I mean? Like that's a long. I was running on a 3 light for 5 years while I built out a, 1,000 foot square foot warehouse, and that was a very time consuming project. So we all know how time consuming building gardens is, and it's a small process. So it's how we do it, man. Start in a tent, and eventually you're making your own salt. And it's fucking sweet.
Kind of get going down a hill.
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
a hill.
snowball.
Yeah. But sometimes it gets away from you, and you have mothers that sit around for 2 years, and so
Well,
that's
the
bad.
big
Tell me about it, Red. I'm purchasing, I think, year 3.
You're on year 3 with mothers?
No, with the build.
Oh, with the build. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, it happens. And you won't be ours. I'm still not complete, dude. I'm actually on year 7. Finally, I got mothers out there, last year. It took me three, almost 4 years to get plants in the building. I didn't want to just put them in tents and worry about heat.
Yep.
So I really wanted to get everything
That's where
done.
I'm at. I got groups going.
Yeah, dude. So like, I just wanted to get it done, and so I just ran off because I didn't want to. All that stuff would have been distractions.
But you know
Maybe
the secret?
Yeah, go ahead. Because I have ADD.
The secret is you're on year 7. You're still not complete. I'm on year 3. I'm not complete. Even the $1 million operations are really never complete. Like at work, we always have shit we need to fix, upgrade. And there's always things we could do better. So like, it's a never-ending thing with growing, I think. So that once you accept that and you start relaxing about that, it's like, all right.
You guys are gonna
You
laugh.
start embracing it, and you're like, you embrace. Oh, what's my next upgrade?
I'm upgrading to like 2015 because I'm about to upgrade from metal halide to ceramic metal halide in our bedroom. So that's my upgrade right now. But I got a great deal on ceramic metal halides through an auction a couple years ago. Well, my brother did, and he hooked me up with them. So I got like 6 CM8 Nanolux CMH315s, which should work with my app-based controller. We'll find out soon. But I got 6 of those lights for like $250 or something like that. Plus, I got like 2 Gavita 750s and some other shit. It was just a pretty good deal I couldn't pass up. So, all of us growers who have a ton of old equipment laying around, I went and bought a bunch of old equipment, so I don't know. Maybe
it's all over Facebook.
It's all over. So I mean, you never know what you can find, and it might
it's
just
a graveyard. You
it's
get
not
Quest
LED,
to use and
but it's gonna work for our propagation space and work for our veg. I need it for veg.
So we finally got the moms out there last year, like just last year, and that was the big thing. And then they had all this space, and so they got way too big.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I was making moms. Once I got my veg up in the garage, I was making moms for no reason. I realized like I had 4 foot, 5 foot tall plants before. I was like, wait, I'm pheno hunting triple burger. There's zero reason for me to have these giant moms right now. I'm not gonna be able to take any sort of cut. So it can definitely get away from you. But
resetting moms is so fun to me because it's like, okay, now I can stop dealing with this big, demanding, giant mother, and all I have is a little. It's so nice.
Technically, if we're talking, they're just moms. I reset like whatever you saw. There was like a bunch of pots on the table in veg. There's probably 8 pots, so there's probably 8 moms I reset.
Isn't that good? Feel so good to cut all those down,
bro. It's so nice. Like, all right, now I have 8 less plants to water. Yeah.
We're gonna make some like coat racks or something because these moms, I cut them down and I took, I kept them as long as possible, so they're staffs. with like.
Oh, you're gonna make coat racks out of those?
I think it'd be
That'd
cool.
be really neat.
We're definitely gonna make some mulch out of them. That's for sure. They're big enough to go through our mulcher.
You
Little
really need
fucking
any mulch?
trays like this, I can't get them. You know, fuck up.
You really need any mulch?
No, well, I like to use that mulch.
Honestly,
For our
always.
chickens. That's good mulch for our chicken bedding.
Because if you need some, there's
And
this
for
app
our-
I know about
and for our cannabis pots.
called Chip Drop.
Use-
Oh,
like-
tell us about this chip drop you know about, babe.
Well, they'll basically logger guys will drop off the chips for you for free or in your area.
Like 40 yards worth right in your front
Yeah.
driveway.
You don't
We
stop them.
are,
they
we are
just
good on
coming.
pine tree mulch, oak tree mulch, mulch. In fact, I've officially am being robbed of nitrogen. I know that I've talked about it not
Oh,
as bad of all the people that have talked about it, but it is definitely doing what it's going to do. That's for sure. We use way too much of it, and it should only be this one season. Hopefully, it starts to turn into some nice compost underneath there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the stuff's growing. We're getting shit to grow. It's just not growing like it's growing in other areas. So we're definitely seeing some nitrogen deficiency.
Just worm castings the fuck out of everything when you
That's
plant.
what
Throw some worm castings in the hole.
Could you put clover seeds all over the mulch and maybe
Clover's growing great. Clover is growing. Yeah, I think we could. And we're
Nice.
letting a lot of our clover go to seed so that we can spread it. And I want to eat the pods.
It's
Pardon.
everywhere.
I was gonna say, I just showed Bake that today, bro. I just showed him eating those pods. I was like, these are kind of sour, so that's kind of
Oh,
surprising.
is that what it was? A clover pod?
Yeah, yep, that's what I was showing.
Yeah,
him.
it was a little tardy.
So if you let those,
Tardy. A little
if you
tardy.
let those dry out, if you let it keep going and dry out, you can pick them, and with very little pressure, just seeds will fly out of those things. They just shoot.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's how arugula is, dude.
Like pops.
Yeah, you touch it and it goes boing and it shoots the seeds out. Dude, I'm having a dilemma right now. I have this 3-hole hash pipe, shout out, denial. Fucking, and it has a glass rod and it's clear. And I had the glass
I
rod.
thought it was a dilemma we could help you with.
No, I'm sorry. I had the glass rod on this rolling tray here, and I'm checking. It's not on the rolling tray. It's not on our immediate
Are
surrounding
you
table.
sure you saw it today?
No, I for sure was. I had it in my hand. I feel like
Maybe you took it somewhere.
fucking DOG's got it hanging out of his lip, and he's going woo.
he must be
Hitting
messing with it. I had to have walked off with it, but that's what I'm gonna smoke some hash with out of this
Post hash time.
post. Boy, yeah, it's
I
officially 12 minutes.
Yeah,
ago.
shout out to those guys. It was cool hanging out with them out there at the show, man.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, they hung out and kicked it at the booth during the beginning of that Pink Floyd set while we were packing up.
What was
our booth?
What was super cool was we were up right next to the set, and we could see basically from almost their vantage point shooting towards you guys the lights, which looked pretty cool.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it
yeah.
looked pretty cool. But when I walked around to where your guys' booth was and looked back, that was the best view. I thought, whoa, that's fucking dope to see the lasers and how they fanned out. And
They fanned out back there, and it was like
yeah,
the mist of the sky and all the smoke, and
it lit up all the bugs in the sky like lightning bugs, and it was
that was
fucking
really cool.
I
All
thought
of
it
the
was-
moths and shit getting caught in the lasers.
I thought it was nuts that it like abruptly, cut out so much, and it was
yeah.
summer. It was like a moment where everyone was like, "Whoa!"
Well, okay, all
When
right.
you hear the crowd reaction, go, oh.
So, for perspective, if you know the song "Shine on You Crazy Diamond," it's a long song, and so the introduction is like
They were doing like
a
the whole
couple,
thing.
yeah, and so like they're like 3 minutes into the introduction, and it's like getting into do 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 do, it's getting into the stuff, and it just fucking cuts, and I was like, oh no, man.
It's a bullet breaker, man.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was like it's
they were
one of his
they were
favorite
just
songs,
starting to go,
and it just like, of course,
it's
happened
one of my top favorite
at that
songs.
moment. But they came back with it, and they did
Pink
the.
Floyd.
Yeah, it's on "Wish You Were Here."
I saw Pink Floyd Dice. I'm gonna find you first.
I think Time is my favorite from them.
Time.
There's just something about the build up of that one, and then the
that has a great crescendo build up. Yeah.
Oof.
Shout out Anything Gross. She said, you guys had me look into a hookah because of that night. That hookah was nice, guys. Yeah, that reminds me.
Dude, I was looking at Quasar shishas for the top of that, and actually I broke that hookah. I actually need a new hookah, so I was looking at hookahs myself. Anything Gross? They're kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
Pretty cool. It's nice when you have a handful of people sitting around. You can just kind of pass that thing. If you're having some nice hash and cannabis,
Yeah, that was so cool.
you can. There are nice clean charcoals that you can actually get like electric charcoal starters, so you don't have to blast them with butane or anything. You can just heat them up electrically, and they'll.
You could rip, man. You could get big rips off of that thing.
Yep. Big rips.
Get one of those like Octa hookahs with like the 8 hoses coming off and have a real sesh. Like don't have to pass anything around. Everyone's got the access.
Exactly. And
That's dope as fuck. That's pimp. That's when
Octa
you're big pimping then.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
it's like $1,000 or something. But
Well,
I actually have no
when
idea
I
how much
pulled
it is.
up that what was that Quasar
Quasar.
dish?
Yeah, Quasar.
Quasar dish. That's what they must have been doing. They had so much hash in that thing.
Yeah, really
You needed
nice.
8 people all day.
Full, dude. Totally.
Speaking of hash and the hash domes, we got to enjoy some Red Setter hash out of the Red Setter hash dome this weekend up in the UP in the middle of the woods. Actually,
Nice,
last
dude.
night, late last night, just finger rolling hash, sticking it on the dome, like in the middle of the woods. It was fun.
Did it putty up nice for you?
It took me a little bit to get it started. I kept, puttied up perfectly.
Puttied up,
like
cool.
it rolled, just with some pressure and time and heat, of my fingers. Slammed it right on there, big old like Q-tip end size, maybe a little bit bigger than an end of a Q-tip, right on the end of the nail there, and then lit it up. And I thought I got it started like twice, and and I put the dome on, and it's dark out, so I can't even tell if it's like working. I go to hit it, and I'm like, I think that was just a little bit, maybe try to relight that again. Relight it again. I go to hit it again, and all of a sudden I see this big ember start going inside of it. When I'm like, hey, okay, it's going. Let's go.
It'll get you going.
Yeah, it's a fun little, fun device.
I'm kind of bummed. I'm ever so slightly jealous. We're going on a little vacation in just a few days, and we're not going to be able to bring as much stuff. We're going into the deep red. We're going real red. We're traveling into all you red states. I think we're going into a couple medical states, so that's going to be
Deep red.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we're going into Indiana. We're not going
Indiana.
We're going like hot dog ways.
I drive through that state so fast just to get out of it.
Indiana. I don't want to speed through Indiana.
I don't hear a good thing.
That's true. I drive through there only 5 miles over the speed limit.
Swiftly and quickly, that's for sure.
No stops.
We're gonna stop, dude. We're totally gonna
No stops. No stops.
Guess where we're stopping, guys?
We're gonna stop around a bunch of fucking cops, man. We're gonna stop. Yeah, the fucking shakedown's gonna be down there. Dead and Company's playing at Deer Creek, Noblesville. It's called Ruoff Stadium or Ruoff's Amphitheater.
Bless them for going and playing there.
But we're gonna go down there and try to get some tickets for the show. We're officially on our honeymoon, so we've got a little bit more work to do.
We gotta pack.
We're gonna go do a little bit of sightseeing.
What other states are we stopping through?
Probably gonna go through Missouri. Clay Pipes. I might end up hitting you up depending on what time we're heading through St. Louis if you're in the area.
Driving through St. Louis.
Yeah, I don't know what part of that area that you're in.
Dude, you should definitely link up with some people on a road trip. We actually did that today. We linked up with a friend of mine who I met via the GrowTube, probably like those days of streaming. Someone that's been a fan for a long time. And he invited me over once before, a couple years ago, and we got to reconnect today. And we both have little kids now, and they were able to play. We had lunch together, and it was cool, man. It's I don't get an opportunity to do that often, I feel like, but it was really cool. Like putting a name to the face, that kind of thing. Like I said, it's the second time I've been up there and been able to spend some time with him and his family, but It's fun times, man. Just being able to connect with like-minded people, from different areas, I guess. Really, like even though he's still in Michigan, it's a UP. It's a different world up there, and yeah, I don't know. It's just it's cool to be able to do that, I guess, nowadays. I think I did it like once way back in the day with my gaming buddies. I don't know if Baked or anybody ever did that. Like met someone that you met online through World of Warcraft, play that for 5 years, and also you're like, oh, you're from Michigan.
Absolutely, that's how you get killed.
Kidnapped.
Yeah, that was absolutely not what we would do. No.
I did that once, and it worked out pretty well. So
we probably are overreacting, but that was definitely the no.
Dude, I know people that met through guilds and stuff and got married in real. It's so crazy.
Oh, I know.
It's like the original online dating.
Yeah.
For sure.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, if you have a common interest, that's a good start, man.
Right.
I mean, if you have a common interest,
it's just like meeting at I don't know, some sort of trade show that you both have an interest in, or something.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Me and Emily may have never met if not our interest in growing. So
yeah.
So there's that common interest.
It's definitely a good way to start a relationship is with common interests.
Yeah, exactly.
Cannabis definitely being one of them because, dude, it tends to be either something that brings people together or something that divides.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want it to be a fight when it's your medicine. Can you imagine having to fight about your medicine?
I've had a girl throw my bag of weed out the window, dude, and thank God it was not Becca. Oh my goodness.
I don't think Becca would be sitting there right now.
She'd be out the window right behind it. No.
Like 22 years ago, probably 23 years ago. No, it wasn't that long. I was driving. So
hey, I'm going to save you real quick, and I'm going to let you know about someone I know that bleached their boyfriend's entire garden. Yeah.
Is that why you wear white? Oh, you smart devil! You smart
that never
devil.
happened to me, but
that's still better than bringing in the SWAT and shit like that.
Well, for sure, yeah. You're just taking a time and money loss, I guess.
Yeah,
not necessarily the freedom loss.
So we're headed through Missouri, which is a legal state. So that's kind of cool. We're definitely gonna have a legal state to drive through. We can kind of
they're illegal now
a little bit, and then we're not riding dirty though. We're actually spending our honeymoon in Colorado. The big deal is we're actually en route to go to Boulder. So not Boulder, we're going to Denver for a couple of nights, seeing more Dead shows, and then possibly catching a show at Red Rocks.
Oh, that's dope. I hope you get to do that.
So
That'll be something.
We don't know if we're going to do that. It's very possible. Dude,
shoot for that, though. Shoot for that.
People at Red Rocks got rocked the other day in a fucking hailstorm, dude. So
that's an experience you can talk about forever, though. That's still cool.
What's the likelihood of that happening?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
True.
Give good vibes out to all the people who got whacked with the hail.
They're injured.
Rocks, dude. They got injured.
Oh no!
Actual injuries. Yeah, people got roughed up.
Bring a clipboard. Bring a clipboard. You'll be fine.
That's yeah.
So we're gonna try to do it all, and so we're gonna be in Colorado.
Yeah, we got a week. So we had to batten down the hatches. So we called those mothers that were using up valuable nutrients and taking up a full reservoir in a week, right? I had to figure out a way to be able to fill up my current reservoirs. I changed out pumps, so the way I have everything, I'll kind of simplify it. I don't use dosatrons and any of that kind of stuff. I don't use pumps I don't use sprinkler timers. I use a good old fashioned timer. Tara's here. Hey, Tara.
Happy birthday, Tara.
Hey, guys.
You're your person.
Just got in.
Glad you got back. Okay. So I had to fiddle with the reservoirs, but we like to up pot. We like to do all of our clones. So we did an up potting with some stuff. So we know they'll be okay with some. They don't need as much fertigation. So as long as all of our reservoirs are topped off, we should get our week on vacation. Just hope that there's no issues.
I think
is key.
I think Mrs. Fergroli maybe already mentioned this to Becca, but if you guys need anyone to come check on the chickens, plants, or anything, please let us know.
That's our big concern, because I've done a week away from we went to Smoky Mountains last year.
Mm-hmm.
So the big deal is the chickens and the actual garden outdoor that does need, non-automated stuff.
I will say with the chickens, if you just have enough, a big enough feeder and a big enough water, that they'll be fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's
we have a
certainly a
5
quality of life thing to be able to like hang out and like go scratch around and stuff. But
We
to
have
keep
like
them,
a slight little dilemma, and that's that one of them is broody, and we don't
Okay.
quite have enough time to break her of that before we
Mhm.
move. And so she's like, we're not letting her be in there at all, right? Like
during the day.
but at nighttime she goes in there and sleeps.
Mhm.
So it's not. So she's just being a pain in the butt sitting in there, and so I don't want her to fry in there. And the other ones, then there's only one box for them to lay in.
Fortunately, that that's not in the sun, and
Yeah, it's a
it's
shame.
insulated. Yeah, I actually have IR barrier inside the roof, which will insulate the shade. Yeah, she'll be okay. She won't get
You guys
too
have
hot.
like a roost or something for them too in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you got
a
space.
whole side is all one side of their coop. So think of a 4, 5, 6-sided coop, whatever cube. But one side of the coop is all hardware cloth.
Rail.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All just
Open.
open. It's like an open, breathable side, and then there's a window vent on another side. The other 2 sides are closed, but it's kind of all open up on one side.
I'm sorry to interrupt. My buddy that we saw up in the UP today, he's got 18 chickens. Several of them are bantams, and if you don't know what bantams are, they're basically miniature chickens. He's got this one rooster that's a bantam, and the thing even tries to mount the full size hens, and this thing is like a quarter the size of it. It's got a little baby cock-a-doodle-doo. It's so silly, but it is the prettiest thing I've ever seen. I was going to go somewhere with that and what you were just talking about. I don't know, but I'm also dealing with a
Shit.
broody.
It seems like you're fixated on a certain part of the story, and it's got you.
Yeah, the beautiful cock that he's got. It's just a
I
little
know.
guy.
What are we talking about anymore?
Oh no, it was okay. That's what it was. The hardware cloth or whatever, the landscaping fabric, whatever you want to call it. He was telling me how he had that on several sides of his coop as well, and I'm kind of looking at him like, dude, like, do you not have predators up here? Because like a raccoon would just go right through that in a hot second.
Yeah.
Well, this is
What did he say? He didn't have.
Well, he goes, I have foxes living on my property and I've never had an issue. I'm like, okay, well, you're just lucky because my whole,
dogs. He got a
flock
pack
would
of
be
dogs or something roaming the property.
No, I don't think so. I
Damn,
mean, he's
he's
got
the
the run
luckiest
pretty
dude
well
ever.
fenced in and stuff, but like even with basically a wide open coop, yeah, man, I was
Wow.
You're talking about the metal stuff, that hardware cloth.
I don't know.
Hardware cloth is
it's like chicken fence, but like
it's
way
like
smaller.
It's like chicken wire, but like little.
Oh, okay.
And stronger.
Yeah, it's really
and
strong.
And that's on the inside of their run.
I don't know if it's welded together.
Their
welded
runs,
steel.
I guess I gotta look this up. See exactly what this is. I'm pretty sure you said hardware.
It's not fucking. It's like twice as expensive as chicken wire.
I want to shout out Clay Pipes Seattle a long time ago corrected me. It wasn't clover that we were eating. It was the common yellow wood sorrel. Because those little yellow flowers, I looked it up to make sure, and yeah, he's absolutely right. It's
verification baked.
Gotcha.
Jamie down there.
What is it? Wood sorrel?
Yellow wood sorrel.
So
it's got a clover-like look, but it's got a yellow flower instead of a big purple flower or anything like that. And that shoots out these little seed pods, and those seed pods are delicious if you get them early.
But it looks like a clover, like the leaves are clover.
Yes. Yeah, there it is, right there.
That is not clover, huh?
Look, see the seed pod in that one picture, or put in seed pod after wood sorrel. What you already have, just put in seed pod.
I've been thinking that was a clover.
And I'll go to the images.
What's the one that has like?
There you go.
Vines. What's the one that looks like clover and it vines out?
That first picture. That stuff is so good. That is so good.
We do have some of those right now.
We do, yeah.
I should eat that.
Yes.
Yep.
Those are
is
good.
it clover family? That's my question.
I gotta believe it is, man. I gotta believe it. Looks just like it.
Look it up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just Google the Latin.
Is clover only like the white flowered and what is it? A crimson flower.
I've been eating that since I've been a kid. I never knew that it was called the wood sorrel, but yeah, I love that stuff. It's like they're saying in chat, Skunk Ape. Shout out to Skunk Ape, man. He goes, yum. It's like, and then Rusty Nail
They're
says
from the
sour
wood
grass.
sorrel. The wood
Mini
sorrel
okra.
family.
Yeah, they're like little okra.
Their own family.
They're sour. It's like a lime.
Other plants in the family include purple shamrocks, a common house plant, and violet wood sorrel.
That's interesting. Clay Pipe says too that it has the same acid that a red ant has. I guess I'll be munching on me some red ants, man, because they're delicious.
Yeah, it's
Ah.
so they're gonna be other things.
So your spirit animal's an anteater. We found it out.
Yeah, that's what his nose comes from.
Big ants. They look-
Start snorting ants, man.
Yeah, so
Golden
we've got like
clover's more viney.
3 different clover looking things.
Yeah, we've got this one that like looks like clover when it's young, and then it vines out, and then the leaves like kind of separate a little further, and they're like a little more narrow leaf clover shaped. But then they get these little long flowers, and they get these little black seeds, and it turns into a little carpet. And it's not. It can be invasive. It gets into the pathways. It's nice for pathways, right? But it's not nice for your beds. So it's like this thing where we get rid of it. But for the longest time, I thought it was clover, so I was letting it propagate itself. But it was just coming in too thick. But it actually is able to get rid of very easily. Just pull it out, and it takes away like a whole cubic yard worth or square yard worth of space because they're so viney.
It's nice that it doesn't root though in those new places very much.
It says spreading viney branches. Yeah, I wonder if that's the same stuff. That's interesting.
Golden clover.
He's calling it golden clover. Yeah.
Can we get a picture of that, Baked?
And Baked, what is this golden clover? And I'm just curious if they all like fix nitrogen or bring nitrogen into their root system or soil, like good old fashioned crimson clover. I don't know what the white flower clover is called.
Ooh, remind me after this to
4-leaf clover.
Gold
ask you guys
clover.
about hydroton soil building, if that makes sense.
Oh, go up at those pictures. That was totally
Hydrotons, like using
This
hydrogen
one,
in your soil, kind of like pumice or lava rock, or well, I guess that'd probably be the same thing.
Yeah, sort of. I'll ask you after.
Like replacement for that stuff right there. I think is that what we got like that.
I've never seen that before. That is beautiful. I love that.
Like that. Yeah,
That's
they're really
cool.
pretty. Yeah, they're little yellow flowers. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it.
yeah, it's
That's
almost
cool.
silk-like.
I don't recognize that either. It looks tiny though, right? That's gotta be a
Looks
small.
like,
Yeah,
you know when they take
thumbnail
that,
size.
They're
that
small.
candy, they stretch it out, and then harden.
Taffy.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
That's
that,
what those
like,
petals.
the
If I could
old-timey
zoom in,
candy.
I don't think I can get bigger than that.
Can you look Can you
it looks
go
like a
back?
clover to me, like it was a crimson clover but yellow. It's
Okay, what
smaller,
back
like a
up?
lot smaller
It
too.
totally looks like clover. Yeah, and
Keep-
well, I guess it is golden clover. Yeah,
But in the
it's-
other
the leaf
options,
is
go
just ever
up a
so
little
slightly
bit.
different.
Yeah,
I saw what I thought it was in
this thing.
one more
yeah.
back.
Yeah, one more back. No.
We were talking about
Before I hit
porcelain and
images,
that too.
this
I
one.
love porcelain. I got a big patch going in one of my raised beds. I love
This
that
one
porcelain.
right here.
No,
Black-
it's kind of
black
like that
medic.
black medic all the
Black
way
medic.
down.
I think I've seen it.
Oh, this one, Black Medic.
Searches for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks more
Yeah,
like it.
that does look more like it. Yeah.
Hop clover.
Hop
Usually-
Clover.
Usually
It does
found
kinda
in
look like a little
disturbed
hop, doesn't
areas
it?
or lawns.
Oh, it does kind of look like a hop. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I
Interesting.
feel like it's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'm sure they all have their
Medicago lupulina.
edible qualities.
That white clover is all over my yard. I love seeing
Yeah.
that.
Whoa, look at the
What is
pods
that?
on
That
that one.
sorrow? That's the leaves taste good. Like they're just simple.
What is that? It looks like a bug or something.
It's like a nice.
No,
I
leather.
think
that's,
it's just the same thing, but probably in the
that's,
middle.
The Medicago lupulina.
Yeah, there you
Wow.
Those seeds. Is that the
Not
same
budded yet.
deal after it's seeded
Like
up?
it looks
Wow.
like
Damn, I love fucking
Well,
plants.
hard- it grows on nothing. It grows on compacted soil real easy.
So, speaking of compacted soil and bringing up this hydrogen question I've got for you guys, he was saying how, he in addition to like building a compost area and whatnot, he was having trouble like starting a garden because there's so much sand up there. You know what I mean? Like most of the UP and even a lot of the upper peninsula upper lower peninsula
Such a good thing though.
is just super sandy. One of the things he kind of just found out on accident is he used to grow in hydro and had all this hydroton. And so he put it out in his yard in like a certain area. And he noticed after about a year, well, he knows throughout the year that it was holding moisture and it was almost creating a soil layer on top of the sand. And he's like, I might be onto something, you know. And I'm kind of thinking, yeah, like that you might actually be like building a soil by adding hydrogen there. And he's like, it stays at the top, you know what I mean? It keeps coming up. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like perlite in that way, you know what I mean? And I'm like, you might just be able to continue to build a soil just by having this hydrogen in there. And I don't know if that makes sense. I've never really used it. But I was curious to know what you guys thought about that.
I think it makes sense.
I've got it in my raised beds.
So you need something to collect that water and hold the moisture, unless it's getting dried out by the sun.
And at the same time, it works almost like a biochar, right? So it's the surface is so pitted and porous that there's a lot of homes for more microbes to hide out. And when the microbes are in there, they create a bunch of their exudates that holds. It makes like soil tilt. It holds the soil together. It holds more moisture like a sponge. So you're
gonna get the breakdown of organic matter happening.
Yeah. And sand, think about it. Sand is just like smashed up rocks. So that's like all your minerals right there. That's awesome to have that battery. All you got to do is just keep piling up organic material on top of that to hold the water, and you're good.
Yeah, sand is an awesome substrate. If it wasn't for the drainage, you know.
Right. So between that and having 18 chickens running around and all this compost, I'm like, yeah. You could build some beds probably pretty quickly out of an air almost, you know.
And I would still try to do a little bit of a Hugo, like maybe you can't dig down too far, but throw some fucking branches and fucking large pieces of wood, so that in the years to come that'll be like decomposing and fucking acting like a sponge for that water.
I think he is doing having using the compost from around the yard and stuff too. Leaves and whatnot and small sticks and whatnot. I'm not sure how many big logs or anything he's thrown in there, but I thought it was kind of cool. And he's all about the, just creating the highest quality medicine he can for himself. He's not like growing for other people or anything, So like most of us, it's real cool to have like fun little side projects like that might like lead to something new or a better way of doing things or closing loops, whatever it might be. Also, my experience up there, guys, I stopped by a micro business, which I thought was kind of cool. Munising Cannabis Company in Munising, Michigan. There's several dispensaries up there, but I think they were the only one I was aware of that was a micro business. So I went in there to pick up a couple edibles.
Please tell me about that. How was that?
It was a really cool building, really cool experience. I talked to the guy for a moment. There was customers behind me, so I didn't want to take up too much of his time.
Okay.
But I told him,
that's encouraging.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's people in there before I got there, and then after I got there as well. It was a Saturday or whatever, and the summer has begun up there. Although I don't think technically the season has really officially started for them because it's still not summer up in the UP yet.
Yeah, it's still a bit cold. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was telling me, I told him that, I know Eric from Winewood because he was telling me how they were talking about doing like a coalition of micro businesses, especially in the UP to, or northern Michigan to kind of, help themselves out and stuff. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I told him I know Eric from Winewood and, they're in Ann Arbor, blah, blah, blah. He was aware of them. And I'm like, oh, how many employees you guys got? I think he's running with like 5. He said they run with 8. He said that they have one female employee, and she's the one that makes the edibles. And, of course, that's what I was interested in. So I grabbed a couple different edibles. We tried the chocolates and the gummies. And the reason I bring this up, guys, and it's one of the reasons I stopped at a micro business once I realized there was one. And I didn't realize there was one until I stopped at a different store on the way. Because I don't know if you guys saw the post on Instagram. We got halfway, through the Lower Peninsula and like, oh, shit, we forgot some edibles. We brought some mushies, but we forgot the edibles. So
damn,
that's a good compliment to each other. And so I don't mind supporting a business and checking something out. But unfortunately, the one we kind of decided to stop at initially wasn't Munising Cannabis Company, and I won't even say the name of the company because I'm not trying to talk shit to anybody or anything. But I wanted to point out talk shit. No, I want to positive vibes only this one. Munising Cannabis Company, this product right here in this bag was crafted by them and tested by a lab less than 6 weeks ago. The other edibles we got from a different company that was not a micro business was made on July 1st of 2020.
Oh, wow.
And so we're talking
Did you
about
say 2020?
No, 2022. So we're
Okay,
talking about a product that has been sitting on the shelf for about just basically a year. It was noticeably
were they on sale? Were they on sale?
No. This is like
They
like
were trying
hanging
to
out
offer-
there, you know, like
They got to go on the first, man. They only get a 1 year shelf life, and they got
this had a 2-year expiration date on it.
what the? Oh, is it edibles?
Yeah.
Oh, they're letting edibles go 2 years now. Oh, nice.
I don't know. Who knows? But but I thought it was
yummy.
I mean, not interesting, not surprising, to be honest, because this has happened to us several times in trying to find products at dispensaries that have dates on them, and they turn out once we get out the door to be, you know, either expired or old or on their way out the door or what have you. It's just disappointing, and that's when the first thing I did once I got outside of the micro business was look at the date on this, and I just started laughing. I'm like, that's not barely a month ago. I'm like, this is why it's just, granted, they might not have the selection. They might only have 4 or 5 edibles on the wall, and a dozen strains or whatever. But I mean,
it's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it to me to go shop there versus somewhere else.
That's why I was so excited to hear about that. So it's good to hear that the micro business model is basically working.
Yeah, dude.
Working as intended.
I'm okay with 6 weeks. That's not that bad. That's okay, especially.
I like it.
What gets me when you get into that 1 year, 2 year is if it's a flower product or a resin, or like a live resin or something, and this says we were talking earlier about laws, the seatbelt law and all that other shit. We're talking about laws. Well, we have that law that they have to get it's a mandate that they have to get the products tested and they have to record a value, except 2 years later, that value is arbitrary. You know what I mean? It's changed completely. They're testing for arbitrary numbers if it's going to sit on the shelf for 2 years. So it doesn't make any sense. So anyways, I'm glad that you brought that up though, Fagorli. The micro business, and the large, whatever chain, dispensaries that might have 2-year-old shit on the shelf, because we're going out of state. We're not bringing our stash with us. We're not bringing our stash with us. We don't want to have a stinky ride. I hope our ride probably already stinks. All of our luggage probably stinks. Yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna have a stinky ride one way or another, but we're not gonna have all of our stash with us. We're going through fucking Kansas and all that other stuff on the way there and back. I think we're gonna go through Nebraska and Iowa.
Smell-proof bags in a lockbox, dude. They have to get a warrant.
You say smelly proof bags? Yeah, smelly proof bags are good.
Well, not smelly proof. I mean, I got these dime bags. I'm sure those smelly proof or whatever works too. But they come in different sizes, man. Just maybe I'm not advocating it, but maybe I'm just letting you know that
So you guys gonna take a tea break then?
I mean, we're gonna drive. We're gonna drive to Colorado where it's legal. So
okay.
We don't know much about
So who knows? All right, so
I realize you're going Colorado,
Boulder, Denver area. We don't want to. We're actually staying on the east side of the state between 70 and 80, and we need to find a micro business in the area that we can shop at and check out. Maybe a couple micro businesses.
Do those exist in Colorado?
I don't know. That's kind of the question. I've never been to Colorado. I haven't been west of Mississippi since I was 14.
Man, I would reach out to the Dude Grows crew, like Blue Kiss Gardens. I'm sure she's got Kentex out there that she goes to Colorado every year. I'd ask her where to go, what's good.
We might stop somewhere. I'd rather not just resort to picking up weed on the dead lot or something like that. I'd rather.
Oh, I'll have some information for you guys tomorrow. I actually know somebody that just moved from there to here, and so I'll have info for you tomorrow where he used to go.
It's funny. A handful of people that I know in our some of the shops that I worked at came from Colorado.
Tara, I just noticed you just got a regular spoon pipe. Where's your new piece? Well, you got a hit out of that thing.
I did.
What's that?
I missed it. I missed it.
I did it.
Birthday rig. Let's see his birthday rig.
Look at that thing.
I love
brand new
cap.
banger, so it fits my 45-degree angle, and I've been dying to get a
Nice.
blender because you guys.
Nice.
Yeah,
So this is
Blender. I love it. I love the blender
looks
so much.
awesome.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, probably
super
will.
cool. It fucking rips too. I love it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I just did a dab of the mix, the Plant Z and Rainbow Belts. So good. Guava Belts is what they called it.
I see Lock Everything by Clay Pipes. And where's the Lock Everything? I'm hoping to keep everything locked up.
Is that what I had a dab of, Tara? Was
That
it
is
guava
the
belt?
upper
Yeah,
area,
that is so good. I think it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
older area.
Yeah. A lot of good stuff right now.
Man.
Oh, he's got a terp. What you got? Is that one of yours for Growly, or is
Yeah,
that?
it's one of the last Cobra Milk Terp
Oh, it's
carts.
Oh man, it's already
Oh.
half gone too.
I know. Then we just started this thing today. I bought the battery yesterday at the micro business, and then I was like, I got the Puffco. I guess I don't need this yet. But no, this I got a little bash of lime skunk going too, and I'm pretty excited about that. This thing tastes great.
Yeah.
It's like it really, even on the exhale, it's like that Trixie Fruity Pebbles, whatever cereal milk flavor, you know.
Yeah, it's such a unique terp. I love it.
Is how will this solventless work out of the like a terp slurper? I haven't hit any solventless out of my terp slurper yet, Tara, but I did smoke some solventless today with my buddy.
You mean a blender?
Wait, what's
Growly? Do you mean
solventless?
Wait, what did I say? Terp slurper? Is there a difference?
Either a slurper
Yes.
or a blender.
Don't you make
Oh,
solventless?
goodness.
I think it's better in a bucket, actually, to be honest, when you can just, use your scoop to let it fall off in there. I mean, you don't get me wrong, you can do it. It's just sometimes it might be a little messy.
Wait,
I
now
love
tell me
the-
what is the difference between a blender and a terp slurper?
The terp slurper,
Up
the
or
bottom is like that. I don't have one to show you, but it's like beveled up. So it's got comes up on the bottom. And then
It's real
here's
narrow.
and this is more, it's still hot. Hold on.
Okay, so yeah, you got the slurp. Yeah, you got the
This
the
one
slurper in your
It's
hand
just
for Growly,
it's
and
beveled.
she's got
and
the blender in her hand.
Can you blow her screen up for me? I'm getting
So
old.
it's basically
Yeah,
a combo of the two. So if your slurper had a baby with just a banger, you'd get the blender.
Yeah, that's the slurper. And then this is blender.
Just
This is more. There you go. That's
Okay.
what it's got.
And
it's
so
got
you load the
more
so
air
you
on the
keep
bottom.
so you heat up the glass, then you put the top on there
Dish.
to carb on top, and then you just drop your dab right
Little
where he's
tiny
got the
slits
hand,
right
Yeah,
here.
you just put it
Little
on the
tiny
side of it and
slits.
rub it on the side is what I just do.
and it just
But
gets sucked into the. It's so
On this
so
one, you
easy.
got little slits on the inner core
Yeah.
there. But
That gets so much dirtier.
this one, yeah, is pain
Yeah,
to
you guys saw
clean.
mine.
Yeah, see, so
I
yeah,
don't just feel like I get such a better high for some reason doing it with one of these. I don't know. It might be just placebo effect for me. I don't know, but I feel like I get a better rep. I don't know.
I think
Okay.
it's how you breathe it in, like it
Maybe.
goes all the way through your lungs, maybe rather than stopping. You're pulling in a little bit harder to get
Because
the.
it is more airy. I feel like it's got
I was
more
gonna say,
sides air and stuff. There's more this going.
how much fuel injection
And
are we
it's a-
talking about here?
and it's a taller piece too. So it
It's
has
just a little skinnier and
you don't
taller.
usually have so it's longer than normal, so you don't really get as much reclaim down into the neck.
But I'm happy. I got what I've been wanting for a while. I've had this banger for a while and haven't been able to use it because I haven't had something that fit it. So super excited. Probably not a good thing. I'm probably gonna go through my dab.
I was gonna say, I feel like you could take some fat rips on it.
That's the point.
That's how we go through so much. Good lime skunk so fast.
Mm-hmm.
We're holding out that 3 grammer. So
I showed up today with an empty jar because we smoked it all, and I
Yeah,
had
I'm down to a little
Mike
corner left of mine.
bring me a fresh one.
We finished one, saving the other one.
we're saving the one I got from you, Gems and Genetics for vacation. So Gonna
You're
wrap
definitely want to vac seal that one.
that sucker up tight.
It's the challenge of traveling, man, because I may have done this recently, is you can vac seal it, you can double vac seal it, you can do whatever you want to get it there. It's coming home that you don't have a vac sealer, and you're like, oh, I guess I better dab this all or do a stash and dash.
What I was thinking is I do have a roll of duct tape, and so I'm thinking the duct tape might.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that. You might just want to go get a smell-proof bag or two.
Well, I've got some smelly bags.
he
I've got some
he just sends back a big, looks like, I don't know, frisbee wrapped in duct tape with his address written on the side. They're not going to go through
Dude,
this hassle
this
of
thing
cutting
wrapped
through all that
in
duct tape.
this
Yeah.
little thing wrapped in like this much duct tape.
Yeah. They're not even going to go through it. They're like, no, I'm not going to even. No, I'm not going to unwrap it. It'll make it there every time.
So I'm gonna sit there with a fucking pocket knife cutting it out. 4 hours.
Just
Get to
put
my
it through a
destination.
table saw.
That's gonna be the most suspicious looking package.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say that again. I mean, we have this technology called X-rays, and I guarantee that thing shows the freaking glass jar in the center of it all.
What's this, uranium?
Oh yeah, we're not flying. We're not flying to any of these destinations. We're on the road.
Yeah,
I
you're good.
mean,
You're
just-
good.
Only break one lot at a time. You know what I mean? Like, don't be driving like an a-hole and
Don't drive like Tara.
Which is why we're picking up our stash in in Colorado.
because you drive like an a-hole. So you're saying.
No, I drive. Driving a stick. it keeps me a little humble with the gas pedal because I don't want to blow out my clutch and I don't want to blow out my gears.
Are you taking 94?
Probably just a 69. I think we're going.
They got cruise control with stick shifts these days.
Yeah, dude. I had cruise control on my '89 Ford Probe. That was a 6-speed manual, 5-speed manual. That was a 5-speed manual.
Wow.
That had cruise control. That was a 1989, old 1900s. Dude, I always bury my head that I sold that car and I bought a Cavalier. That was just it was a 5-speed. I've owned 4 cars that have all been 5 speeds, so that's kind of all I know how to drive. But it's kind of like I can romp on a gear, but you don't get too far on it. You got to shift eventually. So
If I gave you an automatic, you couldn't drive it.
I can, but there's a good chance I'll slam on the brakes with my left foot,
Oh,
which is kind
It's not. It's just so different.
And
It's
then
just so different.
Becca's car is a stick. That's a manual transmission. That's a 5-speed. It's a 6-speed. That's a 5-speed.
Yeah.
There's a 5-speed.
My Jetta.
The Bronco's a 7-speed. That's a pretty interesting one where I actually use second as first. Second is in the first position. It's a weird one where reverse is over and up, and then first
What's
is
one for?
one is a crawl. So you don't need to feather the clutch. You can hit the gas and take off the gas, and it kind of acts as like.
So at a red light, you go straight to 2.
Yeah, but it's first. You know what I mean? Like you're in the first.
Yeah.
You're in the first position.
It's like just a weird special thing to have.
And you can't.
Yeah,
you can't
that's
accidentally into it. It's like reverse where you have to like push down, over, and up. So you have to like
that's how my Subaru
all
was.
together to get
And
into it.
It's for like
But technically, it's first gear.
crawling on rocks.
It's just
shit, right?
it's a total low torque and low. I suppose you could probably tow with it if you had to like pull something out of a
Really slow.
Like
Yeah.
a
Just
boat
just
out
going
of the
over
water.
I don't
uneven
understand.
terrain. Just going over like
pulling your boat
rocks
out
and
of the
shit.
lift. Yep.
Yeah.
Rocks. Exactly.
I saw quite a few Broncos up in the UP. It used to be all Subarus, and now I think it's Broncos.
They're
Yeah.
everywhere.
The full
Dude,
Broncos or the sports?
We drove to her aunt's house in Pinckney. We got off 94. Between 94 and her aunt's house, we saw 5 Broncos and then pulled in her aunt's party, and there was one in the driveway. I was like, holy shit, they're everywhere now. Well, they're finally kicking them out. For the longest time, they were just held up in purgatory.
That and the Jeep Rubicons, like 4-door with the truck bed in the back. I posted one of those. I think I made it to Instagram. I don't know. I didn't have service the whole weekend, but that thing was sick. I'm like, this is probably like $100,000 camping rig right there.
I don't know. Well, maybe we'll talk about it later, says, but I feel like we're going away from aerodynamics these days. Where it's like, fuck it, we'll jam through the air.
Dude, it's terrible. My windshield eats every bug on the highway, and so do the headlights.
Oh my gosh, I have got to talk about bugs. Did anybody encounter the mayflies last night?
No, they're not. I haven't seen them up here yet.
Holy shit balls! Coming home last night, it was like I fell asleep in the truck, and I woke up because I thought it was fucking pouring. No, it was mayflies hitting our fucking truck windshield. He was having to use the windshield wiper like this to keep them off for like miles. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever encountered in my life. And I worked in the ER, and this was gross.
They come in waves and like our struck for a couple days.
I mean, you could see like when the headlights would hit each other, and you could see it all up in the lights. It was everywhere. It was like the locust came. That was gross.
Tell us what you're doing. It's not me. Get away.
That would happen
Shut your AC vents.
I mean, the truck was absolutely plastered. It was so nasty.
Yeah, I would have a smeared windshield for sure.
I remember right above Detroit, I think, is when it happened.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. We're talking
water.
We're talking fish flies, right? Same thing.
All right.
Okay, because New Baltimore has a fish fly festival every year, and it probably is about this time of the year.
I kind of remember seeing that name, New Baltimore, maybe.
Yeah, it's 23 Mile would be the exit on 994. So you're kind of like Chesterfield area at that point.
What was that? The people that left Baltimore, like, fuck this place.
I guess. But there's like multiple motorcycle accidents every year out there because the roads become so slick with fish flies that people lose control on their motorcycle. It's insane. You can just like under the street lamp, there's just thousands and thousands of these things.
These people leave Baltimore. We're gonna make a better Baltimore, and they go to this place where these fucking flies swarm.
Who's that? Lake St. Clair?
Unlucky.
Yeah, Lake St. Clair.
Like Lake St. Clair waters. It's because you're real close to the water right there, the watershed right there.
Yeah, well, they only come in like a couple miles from the lake. You know, every once in a while, there's maybe like 5-6 miles in, you'll see like one that made it or something. But
yeah,
it was gross,
bro. But like right at the lake's edge, like that road that follows it, that's where there's gonna be some motorcycle accidents.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't know what them guys would do. I mean, that's so disgusting. I mean, you would be just covered.
Yeah, your visor, your face. Oh my god, yeah.
I mean, we literally had the windshield wipers full blast trying to keep it so we could see.
Imagine clogging your radiator and having to pull over and be out in there trying to wipe it off among all the living ones flying around. And oh my god!
Well, that's the thing. They don't bite or anything, and they're so soft. Like you literally like touch them and they like just disintegrate. But you know, when I was like 4 years old, I had one fly out my shorts, and I was traumatized ever since.
Good thing we're traveling intercoastal.
They come every summer up north at the camp that I worked at up on Burt Lake. And it would be just like 2 days every summer, and they would just coat, every wall. The kids would be daring each other to eat them, shit like that. Just grab them by their wings and toss them. Get rid of them. They're like,
hey, guess who just got some pizza tonight?
Yeah. Yep.
Fish fly pizza.
No, well.
Hey, there's a place in Africa where they make mosquito burgers because they swarm so thick.
Gotta make do with the resources you have.
Mosquitoes work pretty bad up there. It's so interesting. Our mosquitoes have to be attracted or have a sense for like carbon dioxide, right? Or is it dioxide? Because we backed into our campsite and I got out of my truck and there was a cloud of them, but like only around the back of the truck.
Was there water near you?
Yeah, there's like 3 lakes, and but I wasn't. I mean, I'm saying like.
I think you're right. They got for this
go-to back of the truck.
My breath.
Yeah.
I would Google that, but we don't have time.
They're the number one killer. They kill more humans than humans kill.
More on
crazy.
fish flies for the late sesh.
Dude, I got destroyed. My
Another
legs are
reason
so
to-
itchy.
Just another reason to hate mosquitoes.
But
Yeah,
mosquitoes are still attracted to human
Hopefully, I
skin.
find this glass rod. And
They have neurons that have receptors to detect carbon dioxide.
There you go. Okay, I knew it. I was
Of air we
convincing
exhale.
Mrs. Frigoli without having
Yep.
any idea if it was true.
Catch us on the late stage tomorrow night as we
Cheers, everybody.